Welcome back to the Better Men, Better Ball Player podcast. I'm your host, Trey Cobb. I want to thank you for joining us here, tuning in to us for the 43rd episode. And today's episode is going to be with head coach, Chesapeake High School, Pasadena, Maryland, Kenny King. Kenny King, Coach King, got to know him for quite some time through the Maryland State Association of Baseball Coaches, the MSABC, which Ken serves as the president of the organization right now. Like I said, Coach King is the head coach at Chesapeake High School, one of the dominant programs in the state. And they continue to compete year in and year out. State champions in 14, state finalists in 10, 16, 17, been a four-time region champ in the 9 years that he's been there. And, just a first-class guy all the way around, first-class human being. And really fortunate to know Ken, met on many clinics, privileged to sit on the board with him at the MSABC. And, I loved talking to Ken, not only just from a baseball standpoint, but just life in general. He's a fantastic guy and a guy that I'm, again, just privileged, blessed to have in my life. So, Coach King gets into a multitude of things, from interesting things he's learned from the coaches clinic, how he's restructured his BP, to cultural things, how he manages the staff, their youth program, how he holds a standard and the things that he does in the school, as well as how he helps with creating just a special environment at Chesapeake, and the alumni relations that he has, and just the advice that he gives at the end of the podcast to just coaches everywhere, and really talking about the type of learner that he is, and talking about the type of person that he has in the relationships that he has. And I just had a great conversation, and I'm hoping that you enjoy it. I know I'm sure you will. For those people that are tuning in, that are wanting to learn and get better, and I'm sure that's why you're tuning in. So continue to turn in, continue to give me the great feedback. And without further ado, here he is, Coach Ken King, Chesapeake High School in Pasadena, Maryland.
06, 07, we went up to Cherry Hill, and they had their whole staff up there. So we started going to listen to their pitching guy, listen to their everything guy. And then when John Cohen gets up there and describes his batting practice and how he uses the scoreboard, I thought, this must be a little interesting. So my coach and I took as many notes as we possibly could, and we dumbed it down to our 18 guys rather than their 40 guys and 8 statisticians and everything else they had. We just tried to incorporate as much live activity into batting practice as we possibly could do. It never goes perfect, but we're always striving to get a little bit better. The kids buy in. They're getting quick work at stations. They're moving to a different station. They're working through a bunting drill. They're working through a hit and run drill. They're working through a running first to third drill. And, it's the beauty of this is it's all baseball related, but it doesn't follow a baseball path. Sometimes you tell a guy at first base, look, I want you to work on your turn at second. And if the ball gets hit, you're going first to third. And he says, well, coach, it was a ground ball to short. I said, I don't care. You're not playing the ball. You're playing this skill. You're developing this skill in this moment. And we can do that with every skill all the time. We want to put a situation where we tell our middle infielders, hey, look, next 8, 10 balls, you're going double plays. No matter what the runner's doing, you just work the double play. So what that also does a little bit is it creates distraction, because if you're a shortstop fielding the ball, you're never going to see a guy running at you because he's not going to run. He's going back to second base. So it creates that distraction and puts you back on the focus of what you're supposed to do in that part of the drill. And so we made as many opportunities like that as we possibly could. It works quite well for us, and it's not too difficult to learn. But it's an active period for everybody, because you got your first base coach talking about leads, you got your third base coach waving a guy home or holding him up, depending on what he sees, and you could do ball reads on that, or he can just do random and work on the guy's footwork when they're doing things.
So how did you? Because I know, like you said, it took like 7 statisticians to chart. Do you chart all those things? How have you been creative with your charting and things like that?
So we don't chart. all those things. We might choose one thing to chart. And one of my favorite things to chart is when that guy hits that weak ground ball on his eighth swing, whatever, and he runs to first base. And I can vividly hear John Cohen yelling, my sister's 29-year-old overweight guy can run faster than that. And that's what we do sometimes. We say, well, you're faster, Trey, you're faster than Ken, but Ken beat your time. So what does that mean for you? And Cohen's famous line was, Coach Clock doesn't lie. That's what we did a lot.
So just getting the time from the guy's last swing when he runs live.
Yeah.
Right.
When he's supposed to run live.
Right. Yeah. So like, I love that. So, have you, so how did it, like your goals? So you typically set hitting goals within that batting practice as well, right?
Yeah, we want percentages of getting the play down. So if we're hitting, hitting behind the run or hitting runs swing, we want that to be a 60 to 70% of the time we're getting that ball in the right spot. And, kids get, I guess they get patterned into what they're doing and they swing at that high pitch. And then we have the conversation. Is that a pitch that you can do here? If you're going to swing on that because we're going hit and run, understand, but don't hit a foul ball up high like that. Protect the runner. Okay. But understand, you're telling us, you understand you can't hit that ball on the right side, but you're protecting the runner. Cause that's a skill that we want to work on too. Hold the catcher back. So things like that, we like to incorporate, but I don't think we necessarily chart as much as maybe we could, but I guess that's part of the plan too. A part of the plan of it's a bigger entity than what we can handle to do the same thing they've done at Mississippi State. But, we do the best we can, especially if we see something we need to work on that we've lapsed on in a couple of games, something like that. That's how we approach that.
For sure. So, and you've seen pretty big results, I guess, coming through that. So you like this developing of the skill, like specific skills that you like from it, especially the things that you said, things that you need to work on. And then 2, you like the distractions of it to be able to want to kind of create a little bit more chaos. Yep. So maybe the game might be a little bit easier. And then 3, is it, I guess the competition of it, right? Do you have, if you meet these certain things, do they run? Do you have 2 teams that compete? How do you actually put that?
Yep. So one of the ways that we do that is we'll my assistant coach for 11 years, he would say, okay, somebody pick a number between 1 and 100. And 99 times out of 100, he's picking his own number that he wears on his back, and the kids don't pick it up. So years go by before kids pick this up, but it's pretty funny. So we'll have 2 players, and then we'll either say today, all right, you're going to pick your team back and forth, or sometimes we say, you're going to pick Trey's team, and Trey's going to pick your team. And so they start to buy in, like, so what's our focus today? They want to know what the focus is before they pick the team. So you're getting that thought process of what can we get our guys to do? How can we get them to do it better? And just how can we get them to concentrate down and do what we want? So at the end of that, we might have all kinds of things. We've had clean up the field. We have these things we call triangles. We go from home plate, right field pole, left field pole, home plate, and we got to get it under 50 seconds. Okay. So we might do something like that. Just some sort of a reward system, because they love to compete. So I think the better you can make that, the harder they're going to work to get it done. And they're always jiving you, hey, what's our score? How many did we get? And we never tell them to the end. We make them sweat it out.
Well, so you were using the scoreboard too, weren't you? Were you able to incorporate that?
We tried to use the scoreboard once, but it didn't work. Didn't work at all. Plus, we don't have the scoreboard that Mississippi State has.
Well, yeah. Not many in America do.
Yeah, trying to keep track of the things. And in the innings, the runs per inning, you can only go to 9. So if you get 9 base hits, that's all you can record. Then it goes to a 0. So we had some limitations on that. But sure. To get all that out, the planning of that probably never came through as well as it should have. And hey, that's on me, right?
Yeah. But so what were some of the things? Okay, so like another thing, that I just think it was so unique too. And what I guess people might not know from outside of the state is thinking of, I think, how unique you guys warm up and throw the ball around. And how everybody's getting those kind of more different types, more throws and things like that. Where did you come up with that? Could you, walk us through a little bit of that, and just to kind of show everybody, just that uniqueness? Where did it come from? Like what? And I think just you being creative and you being the teacher, you always try to find these different ways. And I think that's pretty unique.
Well, I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm going to take credit for that. And I do a lot of things, but that was totally my assistant coach. He had been using that with his youth team for many, many years. And he basically just kind of came up with a system where on every situation on the infield, if we do it's a 4-circuit rotation. If we do the 4 circuits, then every infielder gets to make every throw he possibly need to make. And we incorporate tags in that. We incorporate throw behinds with the fake throw, double play to first and swing to third. We incorporate everything we possibly can do, including our first and third pick series from our catchers. We incorporate all of that into a 4-round system. It usually, if we do it right, that we can get the 4 rounds done. I think it's in like 102 is a pretty consistent time, but we're making 75 throws there, 70 throws. I could count them up, but it might not be quite that many, but we're making a lot of throws and the kids are active. They're always moving. We get them talking in that respect as well. And it's just something that, another competitive part of practice that's not part of the batting practice drill, but another competitive way to charge them up and prepare them for when the pressure's real.
Yeah, well, like you said, they're making game-like throws too, kind of getting used to what they're getting ready to do. Will you compete again, you'll just pick teams in that situation. You'll pick teams and they'll kind of compete against each other like that to see who can get it done the cleanest, who can get it done the fastest?
I don't think we've ever done that. What we do is we basically put all of our infield in there. So we generally have a couple shortstops, a couple second, like everybody does, a couple third, a couple first, but we just put them all out there and they rotate through. So if we have 3 third basemen, then they're following the path. They know what their next throw is, and they step in there and make it. And we keep going.
Can you take us through the circuit? Can you take us through what the four things are? Do you mind divulging a little bit into it?
Ooh, that'd be. I'll tell you what.
I'm ready to just get back into baseball. I want to see it. I want to feel it. You know what I mean?
Well, I can send you a video of it, but that'll be a little better descriptive than what we do. But we have so our first series, I think the catcher starts with the ball. He throws the ball to the second baseman at second base, who completes his double play. It'd be like a 2-4-3 double play. He throws to first base. First base will put the ball on the ground, pick it up, and start a 3-6-3 double play. Then the first baseman throws across to third. Third baseman makes a charge at home. Part of our pick series, we have our shortstop coming kind of at an angle towards the mound. Catcher throws the ball right there, and depending upon what the second baseman says, he lets it go or catches it. And if he catches it, he's going home. If he lets it go, then we're doing our fake double play at first, going to third, and third's coming back to home. I think that's how the first one goes. I haven't been in the infield for probably 4 years, so to ask me to get any more of those, that'd be a little tough. I think I'm going to be presenting this at the PCA conference next year, so I will have it sketched out by then for sure.
Sweet. Yeah, because like I said, it's just something really unique, and I think it's so purposeful, when you see you guys do it, and it's something that you're like, wow, like you get that feeling when you see things like that, like these guys are well coached, and that's what everybody knows coming in to play Chesapeake and you, that these guys are going to be well coached, they're prepared, and something like that comes out, you just know that these guys just aren't showing up to play. These guys, we're going to have a dogfight in our hand, And I remember talking to Mike Fraunfelter. I had to tell you this story. I don't know if you heard it, because he did we had a conversation about, I guess it was 3 weeks ago. He came on, and I don't know if you know this, but when his first year coaching, his first 3 games was against Lowry Senior at Jefferson, Bernie, and then you. That was his 3 games at Fred Urbana that he got to play with. So I'm like 3 Hall of Fame guys, and he got to come down and play you and how tough you guys are. And I was just, he just had nothing but great things to say as well about you, buddy. But cool. Yeah, man, so anybody who wants to get into that, man, needs to reach out, because it's something to see. And I think it's so purposeful, especially, me just loving infield as it is. I love to see things like that guys are making plays. And I love the little wrinkle you have in there. You said, if he catches it to go home or he lets it go through. So even they're still making decisions within that, like so game-like.
Yeah, that's our primary first and third defense right there. We throw through and we make a determination based upon what we see. So we got to practice that, right? And we get it wrong a lot. Don't get me wrong. We get it wrong quite a bit, and we get it wrong in games. But we're preparing to get it right in a highly competitive manner, and that's all we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, so you said that you have your one assistant. You said he's been there with you 11 years. So and he's basically in charge of the infield, right?
Yep.
And then what things are you? I guess are you in charge of the pitchers? Like how do you manage the staff? I guess what I'm kind of getting at.
So that's a great point, and I'll tell you what. This is something that I did wrong when I first started coaching, and I think I'm doing it right now. I'll take you back to Eastern Tech, 1996. Maybe it's 97 or 98. I became the head coach, and it was my first head coaching job in high school. And I thought, I'm going to do everything because I know everything, and I'm going to get it done. It's going to be perfect. And I realized really quickly that was about the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. So what I've gone to at this point in time is I've really gone out and gotten assistant coaches that first of all have a buy-in, and I'll explain that in a minute, but are competent. And then I do something that I actually learned from my wife and her business. Might not sound difficult, but I hat my coaches. Okay. And what I mean by I hat them is I give them the job, and under that hat's their job description. Now I'm not physically giving them a hat or a job description, but I'm telling them you're in charge of this. And then I let them coach because they're there to coach. They are there because they interviewed with me and I liked what I heard, and they know what they're doing. And so I let them coach. I've had half a dozen, maybe even more opportunities where this coach doesn't want to do the thing the way I like to do it, but I watch what they do. And if it's acceptable, I let them do it, because if that guy doesn't have some feeling for this program, why is he staying? He's not going to stay. Then you got to find somebody new again. So one of the unique things about our program, we have 6 coaches total.
Awesome.
5 of our coaches played in our program. And one of them goes back to graduated 83. And awesome. the last 2 have actually played for me.
Nice.
So 5 of our coaches have played in the program. Our other coach had a son who played in the program. So every one of my coaches has this buy-in, and there's a trust between us that they're going to do the job that they've been assigned. I kind of float more so than I'm assigned anything. I think last year I was going to be more outfield and a little more pitching, but I float a lot because I just let them do what they want to do. My top assistant who left after 19, the one who had the infield situation, he liked to do infield and pitching because we seem to have a lot of years where our infielders were our pitchers. So
sure,
I don't need a lot of help, and this way I can monitor their throws a little better. So, we listen to what they say. I listen to what they say, and I let them do what they came on to do. If you bring a coach on and don't give him responsibility and don't give him some leeway, I don't think he's coming back. And I learned that from Jim Sims, who MSABC Hall of Famer at our school at 26, 27 years. And I came in and I would always ask him, Jim, are you okay if I do this? He goes, look, you're the coach. I'll let you know if you're doing something wrong. Do it. Go do what you do. And it made me feel an empowerment as an assistant coach that what I wanted to do was it was respected and it was valued, and it made me want to be better all the time.
So yeah, it's awesome. That's exactly what people want to work for too. And so it's pretty. And how long have you been at Chesapeake now?
I think this will be my 19th year, and it'll be my 10th year as the head coach.
Okay, 10th year as head coach. And then how many years were you at Eastern?
6.
You were head coach there for 6 years. Okay. So and I guess one of the biggest lessons learning is a matter of the buy-in, having your coaches, from the Chesapeake area. Oh man, that's super good. So 6 coaches, man, that's awesome. How do you guys, I guess, managing all this? Because of course you have your head JV coach as part of that. So will you guys run a lot of stuff together? Like, do you like doing the whole program stuff, or do you let him just kind of do his own JV stuff and you have the own varsity stuff?
We do a lot of program stuff in the off season. So in the summertime, we try to get our kids on the same teams. In the fall, try to get them on the same teams. We have the goal every year of working together, but we have one field and a couple batting cages. We've got lacrosse practice behind us. We got other practice at the side. So we're out of space, really. We end up kind of splitting the field. I might give them, let's say, the first 45 minutes, and then we get the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do a whole lot of work together anymore. We used to have a field in the back that we wasn't great, but it was an opportunity to go out there and split up. But no, I'd like to work more. The logistics of working more with the time constraints they put on us now, we're supposed to be in and out in 2 hours.
Right.
And it's kind of difficult to do that when you got 36 guys you're trying to rotate through whatever stations you set for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't do it as much as we would like to. But I guess that's a decision that we make.
Sure. Yeah, especially because I know you like to compete so well, and you've had so many good players. So I'm sure it'd be great to have your younger kids, alongside your varsity athletes, your really good all-state players and guys that you've had go on.
Yeah, that'd be nice to kind of tutor them, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. So I mean, just going through another thing, like you said, I even get into a little bit of the summer and the fall stuff. I'd love to hear about that. So will you guys have your own summer teams and your own fall teams? You'll do that, or, will your certain players go on to other places?
Yeah. Yes to both of those. We offer a summer program. We want our kids to play together all summer. Generally split them into two teams, the returning varsity guys, the returning JV guys. And then if we have a couple, high flyers, typically we've worked well with the Monarchs in the past. They're pretty close to us, so they take a few of our kids. We've had some guys go up to Putty Hill, places like that. So we're not averse to a kid playing at what he believes might be a higher level. It's good for him. It's good for us. It's good notoriety for both of us. We pick his brain for, hey, what'd you learn over there that we can put into our program? So we've never held a kid back. We just want our kids to play.
Mm-hmm.
The more they play, the better they're going to get. And so if we can keep them together most of the summer, most of the fall, then I think that's a win for all of us. And if we got a couple guys that are really up there and they can bring it or they can hit it, then, we're going to let them go someplace else if they want to. We'd never tell them they couldn't do that. That's not how we run the program.
Sure. And then you just kind of carry that into the fall. So those same kind of teams then you'll end up making a fall schedule for them as well.
Yeah, we do. And the fall changes a little bit because we're not allowed to coach so much.
Yeah.
So we have taken the freshman team, the incoming freshman team. We put a big note out to our school and to our the Facebook account and to the youth coaches who are sending their kids up from our Lakeshore system. And we tell them all, hey, look, we're having a tryout. And we have a 2 to 3 day tryout. We try to keep only about 12 or 13 for that fall. But sometimes we have more than that. But it gives us 8 games to watch these kids progress rather than 3 days in March. So it's kind of a good thing for us to get some eyes on those kids. And we've been following a little bit as they come through the youth organization because my kids play in the same youth organization. So I see a lot of kids, and the parents and the coaches know who I am, so they come over and watch our practices. And if they ask any questions, I'm certainly going to explain anything I can. They watch some of our games, so. It's a funneling, I guess. And, we do what we can and hopefully good results will keep coming.
Yeah. I definitely want to get into that here in a minute. I just have one question then about with the fall. So you'll take, like you said, you as in the coaching staff, because again, Maryland restrictions, you can't coach. It's only, I think, 80% of your lineup in the fall during school year. So will your other team, will they get coached by a dad or somebody that's not on the staff?
Yeah. So we've been super fortunate with parents. We've had some great parents. We've had, in fact, the guy that did a lot of this for us this year was the groundskeeper at our youth place for the last 4 or 5 years. And he's promised he's going to be our groundskeeper this year for our school. Nice. We've always had a groundskeeper come through. And sometimes it's a grandfather, sometimes it's somebody else, but yeah, so we will coach the freshmen, then we'll have 2, 3 dads, whatever it might be. And then we've also, the last couple of years, we've had a couple of former players who've come back in the fall And in fact, one of the guys from our 14 team, our shortstop from the 14 team who had the game-winning RBI, he's come back and coached with us every summer and every fall.
That's
So
awesome.
a couple of guys rolling in, and we can't do it in the regular season because they're not coaches on staff. But in the fall, there's no restriction because we play with the Lakeshore banner, so they can come in and coach. And that's to me the next guy that leaves. I'm looking for this guy right here who's been a part of the program, has success, coach with our fall. Come on board, let's go, and that's how we try to do it.
That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great segue now. Like I said, going into the youth, I knew you were involved with the youth program and knowing what you guys have basically coming up. Can you kind of explain, like, I mean, I know that probably didn't start like right away, or maybe it did just because of what Chesapeake is and the tradition that you have there. But like, just a little bit about how you like you said, the development program that you have in the youth levels.
So I think I've been told that Lakeshore Baseball is the largest youth baseball organization in Maryland. Now they've got that big complex. They've got 2 90-foot diamonds, 4 Pinto diamonds, and probably 6 or 8 little guy diamonds. So there's a lot of people playing baseball there. We try to do our best every year to participate in their parade. Unfortunately, it's somewhat like college and high school for us. We're playing the same time they're playing. So we don't always have the opportunity to get down there and support them. They don't have the opportunity to get and support us. But I'm going to give my former head coach great credit. He was the president of that association while his son was coming through. And he saw the value in changing the colors of the organization. So because all these kids were looking at us and going, hey, we want to be Chesapeake High School. So he said, well, you know what? We're going to be Chesapeake High School small. We're going to wear Chesapeake High School colors, fashion our jerseys the same way they do, wear the hats the same way they do. And that's part of the buy-in, right? These kids are 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, and all they want to be is on our team. So if we can continue that and keep that going, it's an awesome, awesome thing. One of the things that has been a little bit less than I expected, and we haven't gone back to this in a while. I should think about that. But many years ago, 5, 8 years ago, we would call down to the youth organization and say, look, our coaches would like to perform a clinic. And we weren't getting them coming in because I think we may have tried to do it at the wrong time, because soon, like right now or next week, all of those travel kids, they're going to be at the indoor batting cages and they're going to be spending time with trainers. That's where we've gotten to with 13-year-old baseball. And
right.
It's a little insane. So they don't have the time that we might have to offer putting on a clinic of sorts and that sort. And with the MSABC, we've tried to put on youth clinics, and I think we've only done 2, and we've had the plans in the makes for many of them, but we just can't seem to get that thing rolling.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I'm just thinking in terms too of how you keep, like you said, you keep yourself available to there. Your sons went through there, so I know like even you've been coaching at the youth level, and I guess that helps you kind of keep your kind of hand on kind of knowing what's coming up.
Yeah, it does.
And then so did you find that hard to do? Like, was that something that, like at Eastern, were you able to do that over there? Is that part of that, or is that something that really like just lends itself better at Chesapeake?
Well, I also grew up in this community myself when we moved here when I was 13 years old. But I went to school here myself. When I went to Eastern Tech, it's a total different geographic dynamic.
Yeah.
So I probably couldn't even tell you where 3 baseball fields were outside of the one I played on. But here, I've known this organization. I've known the people that they play. Anne Arundel County it's kind of been known as a hotbed for baseball for a long time. So I know a lot of different places around here. So certainly it was easier here. It was set up before I came. It continued under what we do now, and it's going to keep going because 90% of those kids are going to come to the school. So they all want to take that natural progression. And, it certainly helps that we've been successful and the kids see that and they want to come and have that kind of success. So, it's one side helping the other, I guess.
Well, sure it is. Yeah, because they're only becoming better themselves, which is helping the Lakeshore program. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But they all want to wear the baby blue.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Even me. It's my favorite uniform.
Yep. Well, that's great, man. Super good. Yeah, it's just where I'm just thinking of like, and I guess you said like you kind of do you feel like you came in to this running, or how has your culture maybe changed? Has the culture always been there? How do you feel like you've helped develop and push the culture where it is now as Chesapeake being one of the dominant programs in Maryland?
Um, I, it's a tough question, but I appreciate that. I think our culture has changed. I don't think it was bad or wrong, but I think it's maybe adopted more of my personality. And one of the things that makes that easier is that I'm in the school. The former head coach, Jim Sims, was not in the school. He wasn't a teacher. So he had that disconnect of the 7.5 hours of school day. I'm connected all day with these kids. I think that what I've done is I've made kids feel like being in this program means you're important. And if you're in this program, you're important to me. I do a lot during school with these kids that I think helps our culture. So, one of the things that I like to do, I get in contact with our academic advisor and I get an email every Friday of all their grades. I get every class, I get every test they've taken, every quiz they've turned in, every homework they didn't turn in. And what I do is I'll get that big computer listing of 8 or 9 classes, whatever they have. And if they're not doing well in a class, I'll cut it, I'll highlight it. And when the kids see me walking through the lunch lines, oh, they're not happy because that means I got slips that are basically telling them you're not meeting our standard. Anne Arundel County has a 2.0 GPA requirement. I tell them if you don't have a 2.5, you're going to go and see the teacher that's affecting that until you get that grade up so that you're no longer going to be a problem for us. And I say problem, it's not a problem at all. Here's what happened to us many years ago. We had a kid who was pretty good and his grades were not. So I was getting calls from, I'm not getting calls, I mean, Towson from UMBC, some Division I programs. And I just had to tell him he won't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough conversation. It was an embarrassing conversation. And after that, my assistant coach, Coach Marsh, a lot more willing to pull a trigger and damn be the consequences than I am. He said, we got to require more from them. He says, they'll give it to us if we require more from them. And being the teacher, I'm like, well, I don't know if I can do that. Well, we can do that. Mm-hmm. So I asked, and there was no repercussion for that. Mm-hmm. So, what parent is going to come in and argue, you can't demand my son does better in school?
Right.
It's not an argument that works. So we started it. I'll tell you what, Trey, we've never been questioned. And we've also, in I guess it's been 9 or 10 years now, we've lost one kid to grades. That's it, one kid. So, we did something like that. Another thing we did is after Cherry Hill Clinic gets me in a lot of trouble here. We kind of came up with the idea that, look, when you get into college, you're not going to have an indoor stadium where it's 72 degrees and nobody wants it. You're going to have the indoor football facility when the football team doesn't want it. So what that translates into is you're going to be up early and coming to do some workout stuff. Mm-hmm. So we implemented 6 years ago a 5:30 a.m. workout program. We get these kids in the building at 5:30, and I say we get these kids. We get 35 kids, 5:30 in the morning, and we go through an aggressive hour and a half workout where every kid is soaking full of sweat and taking showers before going to their first period class. The kids talk about that all year round. They talk about they hate it, but there's 35 of them. They're 5:30 in the morning. So clearly they're scared to death not to come, or they understand that it's part of our culture and it's what binds us together. We start that about right now. Usually first.
Yeah, I was wondering. You did mostly the winter, like the 8 weeks leading up to the season. Is that what you basically
exactly?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what we did. And we've had some great success with that. It's not always about baseball, right? It's about these 35 guys getting up and being here at 5:30 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning, sometimes it's 20 degrees. And these guys are parking their cars and walking across the parking lot and coming in and getting after it. And so that's been some of our greatest thing. We have a trainer right now who wholeheartedly believes in our program. He joins us 2 years in a row. He's been there every day, 5:30 in the morning, working out with the kids, helping if they get a little, this hurts, that hurts. It's, a buy-in from a guy who just wants to be a part of the program. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. So the two big things that's what's helped you is 530 lifting as well as the 2.5. Just kind of so just even that alone, like you said, you kind of learn the lesson of we've just expected more. Is there anything else that you've kind of taken that principle on and say, hey, you're part of this. We're just gonna expect you to do a little bit more.
I may have to look at my notes here a little bit.
I'm just thinking like that can't be something that you're just like, oh, it's just the grade thing. I'm sure that maybe something and say, yeah, like everybody does this, but we're taking that a little bit extra step, like it just,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was wondering, like, I was thinking, man, there might have to be something else in there that, maybe it's, I mean, I guess that's the 530 lifting, like we could come in at 6, but it's just it's just a little bit, it's just a little bit more intense, like,
I guess one other cultural thing, and maybe this isn't a cultural thing, I'm not sure. I'm a big slogan guy. I know, you really read a lot of Brian Cain. I do too. Read some John Gordon stuff and John O'Leary stuff. But one of the things that those guys gave me was, you got to have a unifying, almost like what John Gordon does right now with his one word. You got to have a unifying piece for your team. And so every year that I've been the head coach, we've had a slogan on the back of a T-shirt. And it is their practice shirt. They're required to wear that and only that every day to practice. We make all our kids look exactly alike. And I can remember back in high school when it's cold, we'd wear big puffer jackets to practice. Well, no, we wear baseball clothes. You can wear a long sleeve shirt. You can wear our T-shirt. So every kid looks the same at practice. And there's always a story behind whatever that slogan might be. And I think that's been one of the things that's been super well received by our kids. There's always that moment of, laugh, oh, that's dumb. But when I have the lacrosse team chanting back our slogan to us as they walk by, I know that it means something to these kids. Mm-hmm. And so that might be something else that's helped our culture is that, everybody's the same. Nobody's going to come in here looking different. You're going to wear the same thing we wear every day, or you're not going to come to practice. So,
how do you end up? So like, what's your style? I know you're in the building and all, so that could help there too. That's why I'm wondering is, how do you create that phrase? That's something that you just give them, or that's something that you kind of work together on? Do you have certain meetings? Do you have like how do you grow that?
So out of every time we've done it, every time but one, it has been totally me. I don't even share it with my coaches until I reveal the shirt pattern on the front and the slogan on the back. One year, I had a senior said to me, he came to me and he goes, Coach King, do you mind if I put something on the back of the shirt for a slogan? And I told him it depends on what it is, but he came to me and asked me if he could be this guy that did something nobody's ever done. It was on the shirt. It didn't matter what it said.
Right.
He wrote on there, believe or leave. And so, it's been a great thing for us, but it's always been me. And I've been searching recently because I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that we're going to get in there this year.
Yeah, hope we do. I hope you guys do for sure. So that's I would totally agree. No matter what that kid would have said, like just the amount of ownership that took, I'm sure that you guys are successful, and that guys, I'm sure is even successful to this day. That's awesome. So, oh man, so culturally, awesome stuff. We get in a little bit. So, anything like you've done really well at Eastern Tech. You're president of the association. Your guys are always at the top of the heap in Maryland. Like, what for you it continues to drive you, to stay at this high level? What continues to drive you and to keep Chesapeake at this high level?
Well, that's another great question. At first, I kind of speak from the heart. I moved here when I was years old and got uprooted from Southern California where everybody wants to live, and I'm not sure why anymore, but everybody wants to live there. It's great places, this, that. And so when I got to Chesapeake High School, the head coach at the time, who has passed away by now, but the head coach at the time kind of made me feel a part of that family because that's the culture he was trying to grow there. And I don't know that as a 12-year-old, as a 13-year-old, maybe I could even understand that. But as a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old who just been transplanted 3,000 miles across the country. And this is what you got. This is your friendship, this baseball team. Okay. I really appreciated that. And so that drives me still, knowing that the vision he had for the program, what Jim Sims did for the program, what everybody ahead of me has done for this program. I feel a responsibility. I've made a lot of connections with our alumni. We've had about 5 alumni games. I don't know if you've ever been a part of one of those, but man, those are when you're talking about bringing guys back from 25, 26 years ago. And I got one kid, one guy telling me he shows up in jeans. And I say, Curry, you got any sweatpants? He goes, nope, I got jeans. He says, and I got my cleats from high school. And he pulled out a whole old set of spot built, the ones they used to have to rivet to the bottom of the shoes.
Oh, yeah.
But we had 35 guys there that day. Wow. And we had 35 guys the next day writing me how sore they were. That's why I want good things for this program, because some kid might be just like me and really need that affiliation with that program. And it might be a stepping stone for going on to coach baseball in high school at his alma mater, because it was for me.
That's right. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I just, I know I'm kind of off the cuff there too. Like I said, I'm just thinking of things. It's something I've always kind of thought, like you keep moving, and you see these guys that, and you just looked at it and you wonder what is driving it. Well, there's a fire there, and it's something that I was just something that I was just wondering. It just keeps you going, and it's awesome to hear. But yeah, it's great to hear your why, your purpose is there, and trying to help out the everyone there, man. So it sounds like, a great buy-in from alumni. Do you do anything else besides the alumni game to help with the alumni? Do you, is there anything else that, cause you said, it's such a kind of a tight knit community. Or is there any other kind of things that you do to help maybe bring in more alumni support?
So we have a Facebook page and a Twitter. I'm self-proclaimed. I'm not the best technology guy, but I put results of all of our games. I put on there if good things happen to our players. We had a kid, Spinnenweber, this past summer, I guess 2 summers ago. He was given the opportunity to play in an independent league, and so that was a good thing for us. So I try to communicate with social media as best I can, but there's a big gap in the middle of our alumni that I still don't quite know how to reach. It's kind of in between the time that I was there and I got back there. So that's the years that I'm trying to get a little more touch with. I'm hoping that word of mouth will do that. And we're going to try again to get an alumni game here either this summer or next summer, in hopes that we can, make it happen. We stopped doing it every year. The attendance was down a little bit. And the last game we had, I had to catch for both sides.
Ooh.
I was not prepared for that. So that was a tough day.
That was probably a tough week. I'd be struggling with.
We weren't going to do it every year after that. So
yeah,
we're going to do it this past summer, and obviously, things didn't work out.
So you like to do yours during the summer, huh?
Yeah.
Normally, I've just seen guys have done them during the Easter break, the spring break there, trying to get a game in here and there. But
I still have to coach, so
yeah,
I can't be getting all sore and turn my on a base or anything like that.
Right.
But, yeah, the summers work for us.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's interesting because our umpire group, I always try to pay them for working the game. They're like, no, this is too much fun for us. We're not. Mm-hmm. So it's a great idea. If you don't have an alumni game, it's a great idea to put one together. You'd be surprised who shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Shoes that we're
wearing. So that gets me thinking about like fundraising and things like that, because I'm sure that, maybe you probably tie a little bit of fundraising maybe into the alumni game. Is that an opportunity to do any fundraising? And would you like to speak on any kind of, unique maybe things that you've been successful with? Because I know you've had to, I know you put money into the facility. Your facility's gotten better, and at the swamp, like you like to say. So how has that been able to? Has the alumni game been able to create some fundraising opportunities, and what other ones have you been successful at?
So the alumni game has raised some money for us, but it's not probably as you'd think. We told the guys we'd like you to give us $15, and the shirt that we got them was probably $14.50. So we didn't want that to be a money making thing, but also wasn't going to give change. So asked them $15, and some guys gave us. One guy gave us 500, and that's really all that. We didn't ask for any money. I didn't do it for money. I didn't have that as my primary goal. I realized that you can do that, and some people will go for that. But it was more important to me to get them back together and just have fun. And so we did that. But as far as general fundraising goes, I'm going to have to tell you that Lakeshore, our youth organization, gets these guys in a fundraising mode way before they get to us. So then when they come to us, it's not are we, it's what are we doing? And so we've done all kind of things. We have sold the little tickets, we've sold the coupon cards, we've sold the coupon books, we've done all that stuff. The fundraiser that seems to work the best for us has been just an online donation platform.
Yeah.
You basically, spread out from each kid to Uncle Jim to Uncle Joe to Aunt Susan and whoever else they want to do, and it's been very, very good for us. And as you know, as a former high school coach, the time that it takes to fundraise is the part that nobody likes. Well, the online platform it's super fast, 30 minutes to set it up, and then 2 minutes to check it whenever you want to check it. So it's not really a big deal at all. I've really forgotten a lot of the other ways that we fundraise. I'll tell you what we did one year that was hilarious. I've had the same girl cut my hair since we were in high school. She was in high school. I just went to her a couple of days ago, right? But I said to her one day, I said, Donna, I need to use you as a fundraiser. She says, what do you want? I said, I want you to do a haircut fundraiser because I want all my kids to cut their hair. And then what we'll do is we'll sweep all the hair up, put it in tennis ball cans, and we'll put out pledges, $1 per inch or whatever. I think we made like $700 on that just from kids getting patients, but just shoving their hair in a tennis ball can and measuring it. It was insane. And Donna did the whole team, JV and varsity, 37 kids. She brought one of the stylist from her shop, cut the whole team's hair. We looked great. I don't know if we played great or not, but we raised some money on that. So it was fun.
On the length of hair.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. That is hilarious. That is pretty funny. That has to go down as one of the unique, how do you even think? I think I'm going to fundraise on hair this year.
We just needed to get haircuts. And I thought, let's see if we can
make money while we're doing it. That's awesome. That is great. Oh man, Ken, that's creative. That's creativity at its finest. Right. That is public school creativity, high school creativity at its finest right there. We need haircuts and we know how to get a couple baseballs. we're gonna oh, it's awesome. That is awesome. Classic. Like that's classic, man. That made it right there for me, buddy. Oh, I knew this conversation was gonna be awesome. I knew it.
Yeah, I myself thinking of that. Brought that up to her last night. Well, it's kind of hard. We're both wearing masks. She's trying to cut hair with a mask on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I'm with you. That was good. That was great. Yeah. Oh shoot, that's good. So man, is like if you would say that, I mean, honestly, like you're so. For me, I always think that I don't know. It's my perception of it. I'm a well-rounded, great guy, just first class all the way. Like, what do you feel like in your program, like that you do the best? Like, what do you feel like that it's something that you would hang your hat on, that you would say, this is what we do?
I think the thing that I do the best is make kids feel wanted and included. I want them to know that, it's important to me that they're a part of our program, and I want them to feel that they want to be a part of the program for a long time. And, we do that with, the great checks to do it all year long. I mean, there's people that don't even play baseball and they see me walking through the cafeteria and they start hooting and hollering because they know what's going on. But as much as they don't like that, they love that. They love to be held accountable. because that means they're a part of something. And so creating a situation where I think they're a part of our program is maybe the best thing that I've done. The unification of the slogan on the back of our shirt, the 5:30 workout. We get alumni who come back and play in our alumni game. We get guys who come back and coach in the program. So we're doing something right there. And I don't know if I've got my fingers on all the hot pulse points, but I feel the way that we just keep telling our kids and over, hey, you're special. You're a Chesapeake High School baseball player, and you're going to be expected to be a little better for that. I think it's a good thing.
So almost like breathing life into those, and just really think about building a culture is really what you feel you can hang your hat on for sure. And it speaks for itself. I mean, honestly, it just speaks for itself. The way that how you guys run your business, and people come in to play Chesapeake, they know they're going to be in a dogfight, and because, like you said, your kids are bought into that, thinking that that's what they do. That's who they are.
Hey, on one side, we're trying to build better men and better ball players, right?
Yeah, man. I got it to a point. I think it was like 13 or 14. It might have been 14 that year. Like, it's got to be more, and it was just that magical year. We kind of caught the lightning, but it was still like the first year we did a book study. First year, kind of like what you said, is making it like this is what we're about. But it's also the first year when I had a kid come to me and say, "I want to, we want to breathe life into win a championship. I want to talk to the team about this." Like, we had a little bit more ownership too that year. But yeah, it was just definitely more than that, man. I think it just, and like you said, the accountability piece hits it on the head. Because I never heard it said like that. Being held accountable makes me feel like I'm a part of something special, part of something. Which is definitely true. We know accountability is a big part of it, but I never heard it spoke like that as in a culture sense. The accountability of it is still part of the culture. It's still part of being who we are, when typically it's a negative thing that people almost kind of relate it to.
Yeah, you're right. You're
right. Ken, awesome. Is there anything that we've kind of missed out, man? I think we've just kind of, it was great, man. Is there anything like you feel we might have left out you want to get into? You might have forgot. I know that you're a great practice planner. Do you want to get into? Is there anything that you feel you want to just get into that we might not have discussed?
One topic that, and I'm not sure who's even going to listen to this. I haven't, targeted the audience yet, but one of the things that I like to tell everybody is that if you're not going to clinics, you're missing out on a great opportunity, because the clinic itself, no matter who it is, they're going to have great speakers. But at that clinic are going to be guys like you and me, and we're going to sit down in a hallway somewhere, and we're going to have this same conversation, recorded or not recorded, and we're going to both benefit so much from this that it's going to bring back great things for our program. And when you go to a clinic, right now the ABCA virtual clinic is on, but you're going to talk to, you have the possibility of talking to 8,000 people who do the same thing you do and are so willing to share what they've done because somebody shared it with them, right? I think if I could give anybody just some basic advice, start going to some clinics, listening, and then talking, and then listening again. You're going to learn so much. And one of the things you might learn is that what you're doing is right and what you're doing is great. And one of the things that you might learn is that, hey, you could do a small change and make a great difference in your program. There's so much to be learned by listening to other people. And I think that's a great crime in our country right now. We don't like to listen so much. We like to talk a lot. We don't like to listen so much. But there's opportunities out there to become a better coach. And, this is about year 25 for me. I haven't missed a clinic in 17 years, something of that sort. And then, with our mailing guys, the MSABC, I've been part of that program for probably all 25 years. I've been a high school coach, and I've been some sort of a committee member for most of that. And, it's great dividends to meet people like you, meet other people out the West that I'd never have an opportunity to meet. And then you get to talk with these guys and hang out and speak the breath of baseball. It's good.
Yeah, it is good. Now, that's great about advice. There's definitely guys who I think just the feedback that I've been getting and guys that have been listening just feel like like I was talking to Andy Baker at Middletown, like he just feels like he wants a clinic, and that's what he's kind of liked about this is
Mhm.
because we've been getting into some nuts and bolts of things and where he could hand it to his staff and say, take a look at this, this. So I think that's extremely valuable. And I love how you said about going to a clinic a lot of the time just validates what you're doing well, because I know we all want to, I know for me, it's always a matter of I'll try this and I'll try that, but it really just validates like, look, what we're doing is good. Like we need to continue this, not just change for the sake of change. But I agree, wholeheartedly agree about to be able to sit in a corner, grab a guy walking out and just being able to touch base with him and network is just huge. That's a lot of reason. Like for me to start this was been fortunate to network, get guys like you and just guys I've learned it from clinics and just talking base. And then all of a sudden we got his number. All of a sudden hey, what do you think about this? Here's a video. And it's been, I think it's what's great about baseball coaches.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of touched base about the MSABC. For those guys who don't know, it's our state coach association, and you've been a part of it. Like I said, a long time, and I was part of it every year. Every year that I was a head coach, and since then, so been 13 years now. What would you like to speak about? About the importance of a coach association and what the association can do for you as a coach, as well as for other coaches.
Okay, great. I think that the first thing the MSABC does is it gets people together like you and me, and our counterparts all over the state. Some people come to meetings, some people just come to some of the events that we have. But the core of the MSABC is to put our high school players in front of college coaches. We've been doing that for a long time. It's kind of built itself up to playing most of our games now in professional stadiums. We're sometimes getting well. First of all, I think we service about 1,000 kids a year. That's a big number. About 1,000 a year attend one of our events in some way, shape, or form, and some of them attend 3 and 4 of them. We're getting the best high school coaches in the state are supervising these activities. We're getting sometimes 30, 40, 50 college coaches to come in. You're getting coaches from Virginia, from Pennsylvania, from New Jersey, Delaware, West Virginia, Maryland. So we're getting kids in front of college coaches at zero cost for the kid. Doesn't cost the kid a penny. Okay. And we're putting together teams that we think are the best in the state for the year. We call it our preseason all-state team. We end up putting together teams at the end. We've got 4 different games that we play where we pit juniors against juniors, seniors against seniors, freshmen, sophomores against each other. Our crescendo event is the Brooks Robinson game at Camden Yards. So we're doing a lot of great things with kids, trying to get them in front of college coaches and getting them playing on some of these great facilities so that they can then continue on with their baseball career. And we're not doing it like some people are saying, hey, we need $500, $1,000 to let you play in this event. So I think it's a great opportunity for coaches to get involved. It gets you in networking situations like this. It's certainly better in the real world, but we're coming back to that very shortly, I hope. So we'll get that sense together, and that's a great learning opportunity as well. So it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Absolutely. Yep. And I love how you even said there, $0, and that's one thing even goes to, and it's a shame that people have to associate money with what might have value. But that's an extreme value. So the biggest thing that guys they just got to show up, hopefully they just show up for it. And it's a life lesson in itself. Just show up to a tryout, get your name, get your name out there. And even as a coach, to be able to show up and put in your time and help out the state, help out the kids that not necessarily, or even just in your area, a lot of guys just want to help their guy, but it's a chance to be able to help your area out and which then helps the state get the right guys and for the players.
I think that's the most important thing, making sure we're getting the right people. But if we don't get them, can't get the right people.
Right.
Show up.
I agree. So then, Ken, this has just been, I think that was great. We covered so many good things, very valuable. I'm sure a lot of people love to get into some things, especially the stuff like the infield stuff that I know you're going to present about, which is awesome. You're a BCA presenter. You're going to present at the BCA. And so that's cool. We're both going to present. We both present on infield. Because when I present on infield, I think it was
Yeah, that's
the year you were regional coach of the year. That's when I was there, right? Isn't that because you were there that year,
Is it
wasn't it?
Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yep, that's right, Nashville.
Yeah, because I think you were the regional coach of the year and you're getting your award, and you were there, and that's when I was presenting. I presented on infield, and then you're going to present on infield. That's cool, man.
Mine's not going to be quite as high energy as yours.
That's my hang my hat on. Like I don't know if I don't know if I would call it blessed, but that's just who I am. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. But yeah, but you'll be extremely well detailed and it'll be awesome. So speaking of that, so like how would someone maybe want to get some of the information, contact you, maybe other things, and maybe some details of other things about your program?
So probably the easiest way is through the MSABC. So my email address for the MSABC is KS as in Sam King at marylandbaseball.org. And www.marylandbaseball.org is the website for the State Baseball Coaches Association as well.
Okay. Fantastic. And that'll be great. So, man, I can't thank you enough, man. I knew this was going to be great. Glad we were able to get it done. And, we worked through a little bit of technical difficulties at the beginning. So to make it work, man, I knew it was going to make it work. I really appreciate it, Ken. Even Kel, we were just going over the calendar stuff. She's like, oh, I see you're getting ready to talk to Ken this week. And she's like, that'll be a great conversation. So even my wife knew it was going to be great.
Well, I appreciate that. I was very excited that you asked and happy to do it. It was a fun time. I can't wait to listen to it and think to myself, that was wrong. Hopefully I got more right than wrong.
Head coach, Kenny King, just knocking it out of the park. I just love talking to Ken and been somebody that I really look up to and really glad I was able to get a chance to actually record a conversation that we had talking baseball, and talking on great things that he does in his program. But I love the standard, man. I love him walking around the lunch, walking around at lunch, and him having those piece of papers and those kids know. Always envy that. I think that's really a difference maker too. I was never had the privilege of being in the building as a head coach. Taught middle school for the last couple years, and on the same campus for 9 out of the 11. At the elementary school for 5 years, and then at the middle school for the last 3 there. And but just being in the building, there's something to it. And like that's the thing as Coach King talked about, you talk about how he's able to be in the building. There's there's a little bit more you can do. You got to get your handle on them. People can see that what you do is just a little bit more special. You're making it more special. You're holding kids more accountable. You're creating a better environment that kids can see and they want to be a part of that, and it makes them feel even more special. And just like what anybody does, that's great culture stuff. And I fully agree. It seems like that's like he said, that's what he feels like he does best is making kids feel that, and it was just a great conversation. I really enjoyed it, and lessons learned. For me, is continue to make it feel special wherever you are. Hold kids to a higher standard. I love how you said that how the accountability makes it more special. I'm going to hold you to a higher standard, and that's what makes what we're doing special. Knowing that I'm holding you here, I care about what you're doing, and that's what makes it special. That's what makes it important. And and he couldn't even be more right too about going to clinics and learning. And I think that's where. A lot of baseball coaches, like I've said no more times on the podcast, I think what's great about baseball coaches is how much they're willing to share, and that's what's great about going to clinics and things like that. I love seeing guys and wishing more guys in our area actually went and seeing guys around, and because it's just the fact of not necessarily just getting something from a clinic and hearing that, but being around other guys that you can see that are just as passionate and willing to share and want to talk baseball and want to talk how you doing, and it's just some of the best things about it, just the networking and being around great people. And so it's just something very valuable, and I know that people are going to be dying to do that next year once all this COVID stuff gets out, and everything has to be so virtual and spaced out right now. So something that will be highly looked forward to in the future. So Coach King, please reach out to him for any more other examples or information at ksking@marylandbaseball.org. Again, check out our website for the Maryland State Baseball Coach Association at www.marylandbaseball.org. Again, thanks, Coach Kenny King, for a great episode, some valuable information. And until next week, keep getting better.